In this lesson, we are going to be looking at what HTML is and understanding how it helps to build the skeleton of a page that gets rendered into the browser. This is our starting project, which you'll locate in 01 hello HTML, and then we've got the index.html file directly below it. Once you open this up, if you right click, you should see Open with Live Server if you followed the previous tutorial to install this extension to your version of VS Code. If not, please look back at that tutorial. I'm going to click that now, and after a few seconds it will appear in my browser, and I've docked the browser to the right hand side of my screen so that I can see these live updates being made as I change the code here. So how does HTML work and what is it? HTML is short for Hypertext Markup Language, and that label markup language is important to understand because it is not a programming language, it is a markup language. There is no logic involved in HTML. It's simply markup which tells the browser which elements need to be rendered onto the page. It doesn't do anything else than that. It doesn't, for example, check to see if a condition is true or false before rendering an element to the page. It just simply renders what it's told to. So let's have a look at how HTML is structured and written. HTML is written in these different tags, and I'm going to refer to the elements as tags from now on. Our first tag is the HTML tag itself, and this tells the browser that any code within the opening and closing tag will get rendered onto the page here. We've got two particular children within our HTML tag in this instance. We've got a head tag and we've got a body tag. The head tag contains what is called, if I click to expand this range, metadata. This is data and information that the browser needs to know on the back end of itself to be able to render the page as effectively as possible. The only thing that we can really see that makes a change is this title tag. And again, we've got this opening and closing tag, which you can see the closing tag is demarcated with this /. If I change this to say updated, then if you take a look on this part of the browser, and I've saved that, you can see that this is where this tag is rendering to. I'm going to undo that, save it again, and by the way I'm hitting Ctrl and S as a keyboard shortcut to save my file, and you can see that that title returns back. Underneath the head tag, I've then got the body tag. Now the body tag is what we use to render anything within the main frame of the browser. So again, if I update this, updated, Ctrl S to save, the change gets rendered immediately because we're using Live Server. H1, what does that mean? Well, H1 is a header tag. The H is short for header, and the number 1 tells the browser that this is the most important tag for the entire page. It's also important for SEO, search engine optimization. Sites like Google, Bing and so on use the HTML to try and understand the page content. H1 tags should therefore only ever be used once on any single HTML page, and that's really important. I want to repeat that. You shouldn't have more than one H1 tag on a page. This is because it will confuse search engines like Google, and if the search engine gets confused, it will lower the ranking of your page. The H tags are organized in terms of numbers, like H2, so this would be header 2, and the next one down again, which would be H3. If I save these, you'll see that the content gets rendered to the page, but the appearance of these different headers is exactly the same. And you would probably expect a H1 tag to be more prominent on the page than, for example, a H2 tag or a H3 tag. This is because we are currently only rendering HTML. We haven't told the browser how our HTML should look. How do we want it styled? That's exactly what CSS is for, and we'll introduce that in the next tutorial.